Hello, so today I'll be showing you guys an easy and simple way of applying grass seed to your garden. So recently I have just had these fences installed, and what this has caused, if you can see here, is the ground to be very patchy or no grass at all. So we're going to need to sort this out because I want it to be some nice grass down here. So before we start fixing this area, we're going to need some basic equipment. Some of this equipment hopefully you guys have got at home, and that is some tools, some handheld tools would do, some grass seed. This grass seed I got from Asda. It's just basically an all-purpose grass seed. We're going to need some water and either some soil or some compost. Right, so this is the area that we're going to be prepping. We're going to be prepping from here to here and try and make this suitable to plant some seeds. So the first step we're going to have to do is try and prep the area. And what I mean by that is we're going to have to try and break it up so seeds are able to get through to the soil, and also make the area level first. The most important thing is to try and make the area level, because when you're planting the seeds, you don't want to accidentally plant the seeds too deep, because the chances are they won't be able to germinate properly. So what we're going to do is grab some of our tools, and the first thing we're going to do is break up this hard soil here. This soil at the moment is actually higher than it should be. So we're going to use this to take the top layer of the soil off completely, and this is going to break it all down. And if you can, if you do find any stones, is to try and remove them as best you can, because we just want this just to be pure soil. Quite a lot of stones that I'm finding. Now that I've dug out all the high spots in this little area, what you want to try and do now is try and break up the soil as small as you can. Today is quite hot in the UK, so all the soil is quite hard. So doing this is quite easy. If not, you can use a tool and try and break it up as much as you can. Right, so now you get to a point where you've removed as many stones as you can, and you've tried breaking down the mud as best you can as well. And now that it's like this, what you want to do is try and flatten it as best as you can. You will do this with your hand, and you can just stand on it. If it's nice and dry like this, it won't stick to your boot. Because now what you can see is the mud is much more lower than the level of the grass, about ½ an inch lower. So what we're going to have to do is now apply some mud to try and make this level with the grass. So there's two ways in which we can do this. One, if we've already got some pre-existing mud laying around from our garden, you can use this to try and build the layer up. Or the second best option is to use some compost. Now you can buy it quite cheaply at a supermarket or a garden centre, or if you've got compost of your own growing in a compost pile, you can use it to try and raise the level up. So the same process again is to apply it and try and make it as level and as flat as you can. So spend as much time as you want during this period. If you don't care about it being so flat, don't spend too much time on it. But if you do want it to try and get as level as possible, if you do see any spots where you think it might be a bit too low, it's just to sprinkle a bit more on and just keep going at it until you're happy with the level of it all. Right, so now that I'm happy with the level of it, what I'm going to do now is put some water over it. Give it quite a nice soaking. Now the reason we do this is because the grass seed needs moisture to germinate. And not only that, is if I was to put this grass seed down now and put it on a dry area, chances are the grass seed might just fly off. So if it's wet, the seed is more likely to stick. And you just sprinkle our seeds over the top. So that's about okay, because you don't want too many seeds. We don't want it basically all just being pure seeds, and we don't want it just being pure soil. So about a 75% seeds to soil ratio is probably what we're looking for. But if you're not happy, just apply a bit more, just so you're totally satisfied. So we're almost done now, but what we're going to have to do now is put a top coat on top of the seeds. So the trick is we don't want to bury the seeds too deep in the soil. So a general couple mil on top of soil is preferably okay. So this is going to stop the birds from taking your seeds away, and also keep the seeds well moisturized underneath. Otherwise, if the seeds are out, the sun can basically burn them out, so they will not germinate. This process is a lot easier if you have got mud from your garden, because it tends not to be as light. If the compost was to dry out, chances are it could get blown away very easily, where the mud doesn't seem to be. It seems to be a lot more heavier and a lot more dense. But if you need to use compost, use it, it will still work. You just got to remember to keep it moist and wet. Right, so now that we've got the top layer done, last thing we do is now give it a nice soaking. Right, so now that we've got this area all done, the important thing is to try and keep it as moist as you can. Don't overwater it and don't underwater it, and the more moist it is, the faster the germination process of the seeds. You don't want to underwater it or overwater it because you could potentially damage and kill the seeds. So usually just watering it in the morning and in the evening should be enough to keep the grass growing. So give it about a week or two and you should start seeing this. Nice fresh grass coming through the topsoil that we put on it earlier. So hopefully this video does help on how to apply grass seed to your garden. You can also use this method as well if you've got areas in your garden where the grass is supposed to be growing but it's not. And this method is a lot more easier than having to buy all the equipment to try and spread out the grass seed properly. Many people aren't trying to get a perfect flat lawn. If you're like me and you've got dogs, it's basically impossible to have a flat garden because they tear the garden up. So hopefully this method has helped and I'll see you next time.